The movie begins with a man named Jackal mimicking the voice of his latest victim, which he plays on a small phone. Afterward, he retrieves a backpack and heads toward his next target, impersonating a facility janitor at Manfred Corporation. His target is Elias, the son of a prominent German politician, Manfred Fest. The scene then shifts to Munich, Germany, where Jackal enters the Fest Unternehmen offices unnoticed by security. He observes his target, Elias, speaking with his secretary, Jennifer. Once inside the office, Jackal closes the windows and assembles his weapon, attaching a silencer. Jackal kills Jennifer on the spot, raising the suspicion of a security officer who moves in. Jackal shoots the security officer and then turns his weapon to Elias. As Elias attempts to escape through the staircase, Jackal shoots him in the legs, leaving him to plead for his life. However, Jackal spares him and vanishes to the building rooftop. Noticing the police arriving at the scene, Jackal throws a smoke grenade and manages to escape by rappelling amidst the ensuing chaos. Once he reaches his safe haven, he removes the mask used for impersonation, revealing his rugged face. He checks the wind radar on his phone before taking a rest. The next morning, news of the attempted assassination of Elias Fest spreads widely. Manfred Fest, a leading candidate for the next German Chancellor, plans to visit his son in the hospital. The assassination attempt is attributed to his anti-migration policy, which has faced strong opposition from his rivals. Meanwhile, on a nearby building overlooking the hospital, Jackal is seen assembling his sniper rifle and testing the wind's direction and speed. Jackal meticulously arranges the rifle, checks the trigger, and prepares the bullets. He then scopes out the entire security deployment in the area. To test his rifle, he fires a shot at the upper wall. Manfred arrives at the hospital under tight security, as demonstrations rage outside. The close protection team devises a plan to move him inside the hospital within 10 seconds. Jackal focuses and fires a shot just as Manfred enters the hospital, hitting him in the head and killing him instantly. Using binoculars, one of Manfred's close security personnel identifies the sniper's position on the 16th floor of a 30-story building to the southeast. Jackal spots him through his scope, but decides to spare him. He then dismantles his sniper rifle, packs his equipments, sets a bomb, and exits the apartment through the back door. The police break into the apartment to arrest Jackal, but are all killed in a bomb blast. Meanwhile, Jackal drives into a basement parking lot, switches cars, and blows up the old one. The scene then shifts to the MI6 headquarters, where gun expert Bianca Pullman is testing a Russian 2,000 milligrams. Later, Bianca comes across the news of Manfred's assassination. The movie transitions to a scene of Jackal purchasing a vintage ivory Jacques chess set. Meanwhile, Bianca returns home to find her husband, Paul, watching the news about tech billionaire Dag Charles, who is planning to launch a revolutionary software called River, designed to ensure transparency in the financial sector. Bianca changes the channel and watches coverage of Chancellor Manfred's assassination, believed to have been caused by a sniper's long-range bullet. The scene shifts to Jackal at a checkpoint, where he undergoes passport verification and a thorough car inspection. Claiming to be a collector, he presents the vintage ivory Jacques chess set. Satisfied with his explanation, the officers allow him to proceed into Germany. The following day at MI6 headquarters, Bianca seeks the latest updates on Manfred's shooting. She is astonished to learn that the sniper fired the shot from a distance of 2 miles, deeming it nearly impossible. Bianca requests her boss, Osita, to grant her access to the meeting with German intelligence, but he refuses. Undeterred, she storms into the meeting uninvited. Bianca questions the officials about the speculated shooting distance. One of them confirms that the distance from the apartment where the shot was fired to the hospital is 3,815 meters. Bianca counters by stating that the world record for a confirmed sniper kill is 3,540 meters, set in Ukraine in 2023. She then inquires whether the murder weapon was recovered, adding that the sniper left the apartment building just 2 minutes and 52 seconds after the shot was fired. Bianca argues that the sniper must have dismantled the rifle and taken it with him. She examines the rifle's dimensions, noting that the bag is less than 60 centimeters tall, while the shortest rifle in its category has a barrel length of 737 millimeters. She concludes that the sniper couldn't have carried the rifle in the bag, as the Denell barrel is a full meter long and would have been visible poking out. Bianca insists that the rifle's barrel must have come in two parts, as the bag isn't large enough to carry it fully assembled. She reveals that an Irish gunmaker named Norman Stoke has been working on creating a portable rifle. Bianca also discloses that Stoke has been on the run since the Stockholm assassination in 2018, but promises to track him down using her leads. After the meeting, Bianca is asked to stay behind. The chief inquires further about Norman Stoke. She explains that Stoke began making guns for loyalist paramilitaries in the 1980s in East Belfast. She adds that Norman and his brother were responsible for the deaths of more than a dozen Catholics, which eventually led to Larry's arrest and imprisonment. Norman continued honing his craft and ultimately perfected a gun that was used in the Stockholm assassination. Bianca assures her superiors that she will track him down using her asset in Belfast, codenamed Sparrow. Isabella warns her not to fail. The scene then shifts to Jackal arriving in Paris. Jackal visits a cyber cafe and logs into the dark web to confirm his payment from his Munich client. While on standby, he receives a mysterious offer of $10 million for his next hit. However, the client insists on meeting in person, which Jackal hesitates to agree to at first. Eventually, he consents to the meeting on the condition of receiving a $1 million advance payment. Bianca arrives in Belfast to meet her informant, Alison, codenamed Sparrow. They rendezvous at a clothing store, where Bianca presses Alison for any leads on her brother-in-law, Norman Stoke. She warns Alison that failure to cooperate will result in her being sent back to prison. Alison claims she hasn't seen Norman in a long time, but Bianca's suspect she is withholding information. Bianca gives Alison a day to provide a lead. Meanwhile, Jackal receives his deposit payment and leaves. He drives to Sweden ahead of schedule to monitor his client's arrival. His client turns out to be a woman named Zena, who moves into a countryside cabin. Jackal follows her discreetly, and Zena confirms that he has adhered to her instructions by coming alone. She then reveals his target, the Project River billionaire, Old Dag Charles UDC. Upon learning the target, Jackal doubles the price and demands half the payment up front and the other half upon completion. Zena insists on consulting her colleagues, prompting Jackal to vanish. Back at MI6 headquarters, Bianca attempts to contact Alison. She instructs her team to gather any information about Alison's daughter, Emma. Bianca then heads to an intelligence briefing meeting. Bianca explains to the team that Manfred was not the sniper's actual target. Instead, Elias was used as bait to lure Manfred to the hospital, where he was assassinated. She also informs them that her asset, Alison, is not cooperating. This leads the team to plan the arrest of Alison's daughter, Emma, a student in London who has been involved in radical demonstrations. During the protests, Emma is spotted and taken into custody. At the police station, Bianca oversees her interrogation, accusing Emma of throwing a water bottle at a police officer and claiming to have 4 witnesses to testify against her. Emma denies the accusations and demands a lawyer, unwittingly falling into Bianca's planned trap. She is then advised to call her mother and subsequently placed in jail. The scene shifts to Jackal arriving at his home in Spain, where he is greeted by his Spanish wife, Nuria. Meanwhile, at the police custody, Emma suffers a cardiac episode and falls unconscious. She is rushed to the hospital, accompanied by Bianca. However, during the journey, she experiences another cardiac episode, which leads to her death. At home, Jackal checks his account for the payment, but it remains pending. His client refuses to pay him.